Welcome to MILF,
I'm Courtney,
and I'm Jennifer.
and we are two moms into literary freedom. Welcome to the MILF for Books podcast. It's the first episode of 2026, and my New Year's resolution is to start every episode with Welcome to the MILF for Books podcast.
Okay, nice. I like it.
One, because we're always like, how do we start this fucking episode? Two,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. You should start by telling whoever's listening the name of this podcast.
Yeah, that's probably a little helpful.
Like, hello, how long have we been trying to do this? Simple is always better, right?
Yeah. What is it? KISS? Keep it simple, stupid?
Yeah,
Is that what it
yeah.
stands for?
Yeah, that's what it stands for. But as teachers, we're told to say, because we don't want to call students stupid. Sometimes we do, but
Right.
we don't. But we don't. Um,
Not
keep
out
it,
loud.
yeah, keep it super simple, I guess.
Okay.
But I like stupid, especially in today's world where there's so many stupid people. Um,
Yes.
Speaking of stupid, how's your 2026 been?
So personally,
Yeah.
not that bad.
Okay.
But yeah, everything else around us is burning down though, and
Hmm.
yeah, that
Yeah.
little meme of the girl, or not the girl, the little cartoon. He's sitting on a chair and everything's on fire around him.
Yeah, and everything's fine. This
Yeah,
is fine. Yeah, this is,
right.
yeah. And
Pretty
we
much
are fine because we're
that was
lucky. Like
2025 and now it's continuing in 2026.
I'm not surprised. Like I knew 2026 was going to be a doozy, but dear Lord, it has been 12 days
Yeah.
and I just can't even, I don't even know where to begin. Like a white lesbian was murdered and that has sort of catapulted things to a new level because she was a white woman. Um, and that's an interesting thing right there, just like from an anthropological perspective. Like
Yeah.
all these brown people have been dying, right? Um,
Right.
in oftentimes in custody, right? And that sort of gets, but I think, it's not only just because she's white, it's because of the video footage that we have.
Right. It was
So,
captured on video, like out on the street in public,
mhm.
just where it was just very brazen how it happened.
Right. And so yeah, let's just jump into that. Another one of my resolutions is that we're going to say the name of the podcast and we're going to say like what book this is loosely tied to.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And so you got to hold me to that resolution. Okay.
I'll do my best.
So 2026, we're starting off strong in our podcast game. This episode is going to be largely about the book called Bitter Fruit. Fruit being bananas, even though bananas are not bitter. Bananas are very, well, they can be if they're like green or something, but it's about the United American or United Fruit Company and bananas, right? But it's the untold story of the American coup in Guatemala, written by Stephen Schlesinger and Stephen Kinzer. So two Stephen.
Okay.
Yep.
Which
And
I'm very interested in learning about this. And I said I was going to read the book, have not had the chance, but I still want to because this is literally about the country, not that I'm from, but that my family's from.
your parents are from there, right?
Yes. And I don't know jack shit about this.
Okay. I will loan it to you. Um, it is from thrift books, so it is used, so you might want to like wipe it down. But but no, I'm just kidding. But you can see it's an old library edition. But
Yeah.
um I'm only like a quarter of the way through. Yeah, maybe like a third of the way through. And I'm obviously gonna finish it, but like I'm like a third of the way through. I'm like, how is there still two-thirds left of this book? Like
Right.
there's so much information. Like I already know what happens. It's like you're reading
Right.
you already know what happens, but the details are very, very interesting. So that how you might be asking, how does this all connect to ice? Might not be asking that because it's all connected. But we thought we would talk about one of the many coups led by America, considering what's going on in Venezuela.
Right.
So
Yep. So that happened what on day three of 2026?
I
Day
don't
four?
know. I can't keep track. Yeah, I guess it was technically 2026. Yeah, it was, they waited for, Christmas and New Year's to be over before that happened. Um, but yeah, I mean, how comfortable do you feel talking about it given your connection?
Oh, I feel very comfortable
Okay.
talking about it. We've had lots of discussions in my house about it, because if you don't know, I'm married to someone from Venezuela. Um, and so obviously my husband does not like Maduro,
Mm.
and is very opposed to him. So he was very excited to hear the news at first. I, from the get-go, was like, this can't be good. You know, I obviously don't support Maduro in any way. I've seen the struggles of the Venezuelan people in Venezuela and how, the conditions are not great. So I know Maduro's not a good person, but thinking that Trump is gonna come in and save the day, it's just kind of like, are you dumb?
Yeah. No.
That's not happening.
Mm-mm.
And I get it. Like my husband was mad at first, not because he was thinking like Trump is gonna save the day, but he was like, just let me be happy that Maduro's been taken out, which I get,
Yeah.
right? Because like I told him, like, I get it. If someone came right now and snatched our president,
Right.
I would probably
Oh
celebrate
man.
too.
Right. But what if
But
that someone was Putin?
that's what I told him. That's exactly what I told him. I'm like, if
Yeah.
Canada came and snatched him, I'd be like,
Mm.
hell yeah, this works.
Yes.
I love it.
Come get
It's
us.
great. Right. But if it was Putin,
Mm.
I know that's not going to be good,
Mm-mm.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's kind of how I'm seeing it.
I
And
mean,
I
it's
already
just
told
like,
him.
yeah, it's like if you're on the playground, right? And you've got this bully and he's been picking on you every recess, taking your lunch money. And then all of a sudden, this big orange bully comes and just knocks out that bully, right? And for a split second, you're excited, right? And you're like, oh, my lunch money isn't going to get taken anymore. But then the orange bully, he doesn't just take your lunch money, like he takes your clothes, and then you're naked without lunch money.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it
And
really, yeah.
a lot of people think that, he's going to be good and help, and even my husband still to this day, he's like, we're going to be able to go visit Venezuela now. And, maybe we can move there in the future. And I'm like,
Hell no.
I don't think that's going to happen. But you know what? I'm not going to burst your bubble
Right.
just, I'm kidding. I did burst his bubble, but,
I was gonna say, what, you? No.
but, I'm like, at a certain point, I'm like, we'll talk about it when things get better there.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
would love it for it to get better there. I just don't think Trump is the person who's going to do it.
No.
I don't think his reasoning for it was to save the Venezuelan people.
No. No.
And it's just hilarious to me to see Trump supporters now worry about the Venezuelan people suddenly, like, oh, we care when they've always been America first, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to worry about other countries. And literally the day that Trump was reelected, I would see comments of, okay, Venezuelans, pack your shit up. It's time for you to go back to your country.
Well, I mean, how many
Like
Venezuelans
meaning because they
have
knew
been?
ICE was
Yeah.
going to start deporting them.
Yeah.
And Venezuelans in particular, I remember I screenshot it and showed it to my husband and was like, oh, you see Trump
Mhm.
supporters? You see what they think of you guys?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of his family voted for Trump. So
I think
I
I
would
froze.
point
Hold
it
on.
out.
Can
Oh,
you
you did.
you hear me still?
I can.
Okay, my video will come back in a second.
There it
There
is.
I am. Anyway, as long as you can still hear me, I don't care. But yeah, so how do you probably don't have these numbers, but like how many, I mean, have a lot of Venezuelans been deported or detained? Like they're not ICE doesn't care where you're from. Like they're
No,
gonna
no.
find you. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
But
not
the
it's
whole Tren de Aragua thing that they had was a Venezuelan gang.
oh right,
So
yeah.
like they were like really going after Venezuelan people,
Mhm.
um, calling them, all sorts of things, drug dealers,
Mhm.
um, narcos and all this. And
Speaking of
and
the
they're
drugs,
still, yeah,
I mean, who was the president that was just pardoned by Trump?
from Honduras or
Yeah, I think
Salvador.
Honduras. No, I think it
Yeah,
was Honduras. Yeah.
yeah,
And so he was pardoned, even though he was like the evidence. I mean, it's very obvious that he was complicit or a part of a huge drug
right.
trafficking, of cocaine, right? And probably more, right? But he was pardoned, right? but
Right.
it's really not about the drugs, right? It's about the oil.
Correct. Yeah. It's about, and it's also just a power trip, I think. You know, if he keeps being allowed to do all these things, and I also heard a lot from Venezuelans saying, like, oh, if you're not from Venezuela, you need to shut up about this. And I said, no, no, no. As a US citizen,
Hmm.
it is my country doing this,
Hmm.
and it will also affect us.
Hmm.
And it's literally our president having the ability to do whatever the fuck he wants, and
Yeah.
no one puts a stop to him.
Well, it's
That's
the
not
thing. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's like, and that's the thing. It's like, it's still illegal. Like, what, like,
Right.
even if, well, I mean, it's really kind of hard to say, but a lot, let's just put it this way. A lot of Republicans in Congress have stood up and said this is illegal because you need congressional approval to do what he did. And
Right.
he did not have that, right? And so really it comes, and here's the thing is like, if this was, let's just say we were going into Germany to take Hitler, we're going to go take Hitler and make him pay for all the crimes that he committed, right? Congress would be like, oh, yeah, let's do that. Fuck yes, let's
Right.
do that, right? But he didn't seek Congress's approval because he knew what he was doing wasn't to liberate the Venezuelans, it was to steal their oil.
Right. And this has been, it's not just Trump in this instance, right? Like we've done this for since the beginning of time.
Hence the book, hence
Right.
Bitter Fruit in Guatemala. That's full circle. That's why we chose this book.
And literally anytime we get involved in anything, there's always the reason we give and
Hmm.
then the real reason that we're there, which is something that we want from this country.
Hmm.
And we never leave the country better off than it was.
No. Yeah. Oh, fuck no. So, you know what's interesting? I was having like a drunken philosophical conversation with one of my friends who I just had like some, you know how you have like certain friends you talk to about certain things and like
Yeah.
we always just talk about like I don't know, the state of things and like how we got here and what the future is going to look like. And he made a really good point. He said, we're millennial, like just say millennials, right? Z, is it Gen Z? Are you Gen
Gen
Z?
Z is the younger generation. Our
Oh,
kids are
Gen
Gen
X.
Z. Yeah.
Gen X
I'm
is
Gen
like,
X.
yeah,
I'm like
okay,
Gen X millennial. I'm like right at
right.
the
So
border.
whatever, let's just say millennial, just to because it's
Yeah.
like, whatever, the 90s. Okay. We grew up and not just grew up, but like we entered our 20s and our 30s with social media and all of
Right.
this new info in Wikipedia, right? Like Wikipedia by itself, holy shit,
Right.
is going to change the way that things have been done because we now know about all the shiesty shit that America has done. And no, we didn't learn about it in public school, but it's
Right.
still there. Like we're still learning about it. And that's one of the huge I don't know benefits of social media is like uncovering these, and they're not conspiracy theories. Like I'm not talking about
Right.
chemtrails, like quit wasting your time on that shit and go read about the fucking coups that have occurred in South America in the past 100 years led by the United States.
Right.
And I really do feel like that is going and so like it sort of keeps me optimistic about the future. Right now we're in like the thick of it, and like when you're in the middle of the woods, you can't like see the whole forest kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like we can't really see, but like I don't know, that's just like maybe how I'm holding on to my hope. Like I have to stay optimistic somehow. So that's how I'm
And I
doing.
do see that, but I'm also like so troubled that everyone has all this information
Hmm.
and they still fall for the same bullshit.
Yeah, like with the
Like,
murder of Renee Good, for example, like the evidence is overwhelming that she was murdered by a insecure man who was mad that she wasn't scared of him. Like
right.
he felt emasculated because she laughed at him and said, "Okay, buddy, I'm not mad at you." And just
Right.
she had a huge smile on her face, and it breaks my heart that she had no idea that those were her last moments. She
Right.
genuinely felt safe in that moment. And we've talked about this before, like white women generally feel safe because
Right.
like what are they going to do? Shoot you in the head in public? Yeah.
And they did. And they
Apparently,
absolutely
yes.
did.
Yeah.
And they've gone forward since then, and other ICE agents with other people who are protesting them, following them around, videotaping them, as is our right to do.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that's the important part. It is our right to do. We still are supposed to be a free country where
Hmm.
we can do this. ICE is stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. They do not have jurisdiction over US citizens. Their whole job is to find undocumented people, right?
Hmm.
And I get like that if someone is interfering, blocking traffic is not interfering. Miss me with that bullshit. We're not gonna,
She
their
wasn't even
attempt to
blocking
like,
traffic.
no, because
Yeah,
the way
but
that
I get where
road
you,
is,
yeah.
yeah, I'm saying like, let's say even if that's what it was, or at this point, then what? Whistling, and sounding the whistle to let people know that ICE is around, that's also interfering. Get the fuck out of here. Do
Mhm.
we not have rights anymore?
Yeah, no, we don't. Clearly. Because
Yeah,
like
no, clearly we don't.
I was saying like, and I hate that I'm gonna say this, but like as a mom of three little kids, like I'm not gonna go do that. Like I'm now, and that's what they want. They want us to be afraid, right?
Yes.
I'm not gonna be silent because here I am, on a podcast saying fuck ICE and fuck Trump. But like I'm gonna think twice before like if I am in a Renee Good situation,
Right.
I'm gonna fucking drive away.
And that's what they wanted.
She did try to drive away, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's scary, but
And that's exactly what they want because
yeah.
you've seen videotape of them telling other people, did you not learn anything from this week?
Mhm.
Which is clearly
Yeah.
intimidation. It's clearly a threat.
I do want to pause here and bring up a good point, but what, and I fully believe that there are those videos are real. However, there are fake videos, which is like another thing. Like, how are we supposed to know what's AI and what's not? But like, and I know that there are. I think I saw one that I determined was real. But who the fuck knows, really? But like, there are AI videos out there that are like on both sides. Like, I saw one of like police officers
Yeah.
getting into it with ICE and like I don't know, scaring ICE away from like a place of residence or like a business or something. Like a business owner called said, "Hey, ICE is trying to take my employees," and the police showed up and were like, "You're not allowed to be here. Get out of here. Get out of here." It was AI.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it was complete fully AI. Like I was like, "Oh, that's some good news. Let me look at this." Right. And
Right.
after like watching it a couple times and like looking for the signs, which I'll share with you, like um maybe you can share with me, but like just look for like a tiny little detail that might be
Right.
like out of place. Like if it's like inside a house, like I saw one of like amazing pets saving babies, right? If you look at like the outlet, like the plug, like it might be like three-dimensional, or it might like be a triangle like on one side instead of like a full rectangle, It's like those
Yeah.
you got to look for those tiny, tiny little details, but some of them
It's
are.
definitely, I think the thing is with AI, it's noticeable if you pay attention, but if you're just glossing over it, it's easy to not catch it. Because my husband ordered this mug and it's like a stack of books, right? And I had already seen it on TikTok. A friend had already sent it to me like this. I thought of you when I saw this, and
Oh,
I'm like, oh, yeah, it's so pretty.
oh.
Um, and it's like a glass mug and it's like stacked books and it's gorgeous. I didn't notice it was AI at first.
Well, that sucks.
And then my husband got it for me. I didn't
Oh,
ask him for it. Like he also saw it somewhere or like his
oh,
coworker saw it and was like, "Oh, Jen would love this." And so he ordered it for me. It's complete shit.
oh, well, good
It's
for him for
not.
trying.
Yeah, I'm like you got duped. It
Oh,
looks nothing like it, right? It's like not even glass, it's like plastic.
mm,
And it's just
shit.
it's
That
not
I
at all.
fucking hate AI so much. Like, I'm ready to
Yes.
quit my job. How much I like my job is like all in on AI, and I'm just like, guys, we can do this
No.
without AI.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue into because you talked about mugs. So like um I ultimately my goal is to quit my job. Hopefully no one I
Right.
work with knows that I have this podcast. I've worked really hard to keep it a secret. Um like whatever. But my goal is to quit my job and to just like make pottery and to do this podcast. I'm giving myself 10 years
Okay.
because
Fingers
it's yeah,
crossed.
10 years. That's a long time. But anyway, so here's a prototype. It's a tiny, tiny little baby teacup, but I want to show you. I've been making pottery since college, but I haven't been able to like really hone the craft. But I've
Okay.
been seeing a lot more like creators, if you will, out there that are like, my products have been made 100% without AI, right? And so like there's this growing trend of creators and artists and musicians and even like TV
Yes.
producers and writers who are like, here's a disclaimer. None of the shit I made has anything to do with AI, right? And so I'm gonna,
Yeah.
join that group. But here is the mug I made. It says sugar and spice and fuck
I
ice.
like it. You
So
posted it
it's
right on our story.
Oh, I don't, yeah, I did. That was a bigger
Okay.
one. Yeah. So this is like, I'm just getting back into it. Throwing pottery is not like riding a bike. Like you have to reteach yourself. So I'm like, oh, this will be big enough. And clay shrinks in the kiln. So this was like, I don't know,
A
a
full
third.
size mug
Yeah.
when it started.
Yeah. This was a full size mug. And then now it's like this baby little teacup. But anyway, I like piped the words on there and I painted it and whatever. It was supposed to be like a Valentine's Day thing, you know?
Okay.
So I am going to I have like five in the kiln right now. Hopefully
I
this
love it. I think it's really cute.
well, I'm gonna give you one. It'll be
Okay.
bigger. Yeah. And but yeah, I so here's my what's it called? My vulnerability is the the vulnerability in me is like, do I put these up and see what happens, right? Like I'll have five, right? I'm gonna put them up. But part of me is also like I need to give back in some way. Like I was talking to my husband about this on our walk. I'm like, I just feel like I'm too fortunate and like that makes me feel like shit. And like I want to do something, you know? And so like if I get to the point where people actually buy the shit that I make, some percentage of it will go
Right.
towards like reputable organizations that are like, paying for legal fees for people that are in these situations that are being deported.
Right.
So I have been doing some research and there are some organizations that I will link to, like if anyone does decide to buy a mug, like a part of that will
Yeah.
go towards like a good organization. And that's honestly like all I can really think about in terms of like,
Right.
what do I do?
Yeah, it's hard. Like it's hard. And also we're not somewhere where we are where we're like in the thick of it, you know?
Hmm.
Because I would love nothing more than to show up to those huge protests.
Right.
And I do like the protests that happen here,
Hmm.
but they're so teeny tiny in comparison,
Yeah.
that it kind of does. I do love it though. I'm not gonna lie, considering that our little town is so damn fucking red,
Yeah.
that when I see the crowds gather
Yeah.
for these protests that we have had, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh shit, you know what? We're not that alone.
Yeah.
And those are the
That's
people that were able to show up. That's not all of us.
Right. And that was the other thing I told my husband on my walk. These are like my therapy walks every morning. I like just unload on him and he's just like I don't know. But it was like and
He's
he,
like
he did say
therapy.
something. Sometimes he says something that makes me feel better. So today he was like, "Well, you got to think there used to be so many more Trump signs and in yards and
I've
stickers on
noticed.
stupid ass pickup trucks and MAGA hats, right? We don't see that as much. And we live in Trump fucking county. Like literally
Right.
someone wants to rename this county Trump County. Like it is Trump country back here. And the amount of Trump support is like gone down
Yeah.
significantly. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
I have noticed that too.
Yeah.
Definitely have noticed. There's still a lot of Trump supporters,
Mm.
but I think the people that just voted because they were Republican or, because they wanted the economy to be better, the prices of eggs, all that bullshit. I think they realized quickly
Yeah.
was full of shit,
But it's
and
also like why does it have to be about the price of eggs? Like why can't it be about a family that's like seeking asylum from a country that's not safe? But yeah,
yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. It just pisses me off.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Like, trust me too. Like, I go off on people. Again, I've said this before. For me, what really pisses me off is Hispanic people who voted for him
Right.
because he ran literally shitting on us and talking shit about us. And you were like, oh, yeah, he's talking about y'all, but not me. Bitch, no, he's talking about you too.
Yeah. But
What were you
also,
thinking?
yeah, and it's not necessarily like I saw like this is sort of like a unpopular opinion hot take, and I can't remember who it was on. I posted it, I think, to our stories, but I've been posting like a crazy, crazy bitch.
Right,
But it was like it's not really even about race anymore. It's about capitalism, right?
right.
And it's about money. And that's why, because that made what you just said kind of made me think of like, well, why are Latin people signing up to be ICE assholes, you know? Because like we've
Yes.
seen it. We see black people, we see brown people, and we see white.
Yes.
I think 99% of them are men, right? But
Yes. But I have seen there's one Hispanic girl that I see all the time in the videos. Um, and just I'm dumbfounded. Half of them you could hear their accent too.
yeah.
So I'm like, you were,
Do make sure that those aren't AI videos, first of all. But yes, I obviously I've seen it.
yeah.
Like when they invaded LA, I remember watching and seeing a few
Oh
posts.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh man, there's a lot of Hispanic ICE agents. Poor Minneapolis right now. Like, oh, I just my heart is breaking for Minneapolis right now. And
Yeah.
Oregon too. It's like it's Operation Oregon. I don't know what it's called in Minneapolis. I said it on our last episode, but they have these stupid names like Oregon's.
Stupid.
It's just Operation Oregon. Like, oh, you're
Yeah.
really kind of running out of creativity there, but it's happening there too. And like two people were shot in Oregon and they're recovering, but this was right after Renee Good was shot. And then after Renee Good was shot, they went and just like pepper sprayed a bunch of high schoolers.
Yes. What the fuck is that?
Like,
Like, are
how
we
I don't know. Yeah, like schools are not protected anymore.
no. And then these people are such psychopaths. Did you see the whole thing about the Somali
Yeah,
daycare centers?
a little
And
bit.
like I don't know that much about it either, but I've seen videos and my husband was like, "Oh my God, yeah, did you see all the fraud?" I'm like, "Hold up. There is no fraud. You have this idiot who's showing up and first of all, suddenly just because now a YouTuber says something, now the president investigates it. What the fuck is that?
Don't even get me
Give me
started.
a break."
Yeah.
So he's claiming some shit and now all these fucking weirdos are showing up to daycare centers and demanding to be let in and shown the children. The fuck?
Oh my God.
Who is going to open the door for you and let you in and see? Like, are you crazy?
Okay.
Are
I need to
you
look into this a
crazy?
little more because from what I saw, I was because I follow Miss Frazzled. And she posted a picture. She's like, just so you guys know, this is the ringleader of this, the quote, Somali fraud or whatever. And it was a white woman.
That, you know what? That would track.
Yeah, she did not look like a Somali person at all. Somalian? Somalian.
Somali, yeah. And I mean, the thing with these daycare centers by, I guess, Somalians, they did have not fraud, or maybe there was like a few that had like some fraudulent cases, and they were already being investigated under Biden.
Hmm.
But there were other daycare centers who had like safety violations,
Okay.
and they were temporarily closed down while they fixed that.
You don't have
But
to be
in no
Somalian
way,
to have daycare, like to be running a bad daycare. Like, first of
right,
all, daycare just by itself, no matter what race you are, like there's some
exactly.
shitty ass daycare. I went, my
Yeah,
kids went to one that was run by a white Christian lady, and they never locked their front door. And I was first time mom, didn't really, I was like, I don't
yeah,
really know like what I'm looking for here. You know, like my gut was like, this is bad, but I was like, so like I opened the front door to get her. I'm like, no one's fucking here. Anyone could walk in, right?
right.
And so I walked in and I'm like, I don't know where anyone is. So I go to the back and they're like playing whatever, like in the playground, right? And she's like, can I pray for you? I'm like, bitch, I'm leaving. I'm taking my kid. You
What?
need to lock your fucking door. I'm gonna pray for you. Like, this is bullshit. So,
Yeah.
so bringing back to what I was saying, like, it's not really about race. They use race as an
Yes.
excuse to put themselves in a position of power and authority, and they've been doing it since before, um, I don't even, since civilization.
Right.
And
And at
it's
the end of the day, it's all for power. It's all for capitalism. They really don't care if there is fraud, if there is abuse. They don't give a shit about any of that. But
mm,
they love to have an audience who they can distract with, you know?
yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
oh, look, be
Get
mad at
angry about
Somalians.
this while
Right.
we are,
Doing all this bullshit over here. And
doing
that's
all these
exactly
illegal
what they've been
things.
doing. Yep.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like this episode in particular, like I was like, what book should this episode be tied to? And ultimately, and I'm gonna wrap it up and we're gonna get into bitter fruit. And
Yeah.
I'm only gonna spend like 10 minutes talking about it, maybe 15. But it could have been about 1984, right?
Yep.
Because of the quote that we saw circulating around social media, which we'll say here. And, if you haven't read 1984, now is the fucking time to read it. You could
Yeah.
also just go listen to our episode about it if you want. That would help us out. And
Yes.
interact with us on social media. Tell us your thoughts. That would help us be able to continue doing what we're doing. But what was the quote? It was like, the party
Hold
wants
on,
you.
I have it.
Yeah. And the party here is MAGA, or the government, the American government, if you will. But it's like the party
Right.
wants you to ignore the evidence of
Of
your
your
eyes.
eyes and ears. So the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command.
Most
George
essential.
Orwell,
Mhm.
1984.
And that's essentially what Cowboy Hat, Christine Noam?
Yeah.
Yeah, which you made that awesome video. I loved it.
My
Um,
little cosplay is her.
yeah, if you haven't seen it, Jennifer cosplayed as Christine Noam, and it was great. Um, but yeah, that's essentially like what she's saying. I know I froze, but I think you can still hear me.
Yes.
She's saying, like, a woman was not murdered in cold blood. A man was put in danger by a white woman, who, didn't even have a gun, who was not using her vehicle as a weapon. The video evidence shows that and also the sound evidence. The last thing he said was "fuck you, bitch" when she was
Fucking
dead.
bitch. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
that
bitch.
is not someone defending themselves. That is a murderer. And
Also, let's point out that literally in their training, they're not to stand in front of a car. Like,
yeah,
don't put yourself in that
he had
situation.
so
You're not,
many opportunities to get away from that car,
yeah,
and she didn't. And he never even he was never in danger at all. So
no.
that's 1984. But also, any of the books we talked about with toxic masculinity and machismo, right? Did I
Yep.
say?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know why I have such trouble with that word. I can barely speak
You
English. I
nailed it.
cannot handle Spanish. I'm going to Mexico in a month, and I wish I knew Spanish, but I don't. I even had that stupid app Duolingo last year. I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
learn I had a whole fucking year, and I have a friend to talk to in Spanish, yet I still didn't do it. But
You
anyway.
know what? And Bad Bunny told you 4 months ago that you had 4 months to learn Spanish and
Oh
you
my
didn't listen.
God. Anyway, the book Nowhere Girls
Yeah.
and Speak. Honestly, any book
I
about
was gonna say just about any book we've read before.
yeah, but if I had to pick one, I would say Nowhere Girls.
I love that book.
Yeah, because of the toxic masculinity in that is just so well explained, and you
Yeah.
feel it in your bones when you read that book. I have it anywhere. I want to try and remember the name of the author. I feel like we should
It
know the name.
is. Hold on. I should have it somewhere around here. My house is still in the middle of
I
moving
have
around.
Yeah, like I have all of my
It's
banned books.
oh my God, what is her name?
Of course, like
Nowhere
the
Girls.
one banned book you try to find. The Nowhere Girl. Oh, maybe I gave away my copy because remember we were.
Maybe. I have mine.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, The
I have
Nowhere
books all
Girl.
over the house now, and I don't know.
We'll put it in our show notes. You could look it up too. Oh wait, is that it? No, that's not it. I can't look it up because I'm using my phone as my video camera right now. So
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now.
it's a woman. She's got three. She has
I
a.
want to say Alice, but that was another book that we read around that time, and that's where I keep getting
Mhm. But it was about a girl in high school, and she was
Amy Reed.
Amy Reed. Okay. But yeah, and not to get into the book, but it was basically like there were so many male characters in that book that had a chance to like really like help, and some did, but most of them didn't,
Right.
you know? And but anyway, like if you're looking to read some books that relate to what's going on, that and you might be like, well, why the fuck would I want to read about what's going on? Like I read to escape, and that's fine.
Right.
But also like it kind of like for me anyway, like makes me feel better. Like that
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also these books a lot of the times have the encouragement of
Yeah.
resistance.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. And I think that's why they don't want us reading these kind of books.
Hmm.
It's because it does encourage resistance
Hmm.
and being rebellious and saying, no, we're not going to take this and this is bullshit. And they just want us to stay quiet, you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Hmm. And
so yeah.
reading that book did, and I froze again, and my hair is big, but the bigger the hair, the closer you are to God. Apparently, I'm really close to God right
I
now.
was saying the bigger the hoop, the bigger. Have you heard that one?
No, the bigger the what?
The bigger the hoop, the bigger
Oh,
the hoe.
bigger the hoop, the bigger the hole. Oh, I love it. I never wore hoops because I was deathly afraid of them getting ripped out of my ear.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
love hoops. I just forget to put earrings on all the time, but I love hoops.
Magnolia. Oh, I'm not supposed to say her name.
I
My
dropped.
oldest daughter, whatever, she wears hoops, and I'm like, oh, don't get it caught on anything. But anyway, um, what? Well, I guess we should just transition into bitter fruit now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So speaking of really shitty names for things like Operation Oregon, right? So spoiler alert, right? The United States was behind something called Operation Success, right? Okay. In 1954, right?
How
And
could they fail?
right, exactly. They're like, we've done this enough, right? We'll be successful. So basically what they did was there were these fighter jets. Like you couldn't figure out like where they were from, right? They were it was so like sinister and planned that the Guatemalans were like, where are these fighter jets coming from? They're not like they didn't look American, right? But they were dropping these like propaganda leaflets. They did it a few times, right? So let me just read the first few paragraphs. A C-47 transport plane lumbered low in the sky, flying from the south over nearby mountains. It was still early on the morning of June 18th, 1954. The sun's rays were weak in the east. The weather was cool and hazy. The plane steered a direct course for the sleeping capital. As it reached the outskirts, the aircraft abruptly dove from its flight path toward the capital's center, the stately National Palace stood. It swooped over the plaza facing the palace, then swerved upward again, suddenly spewing thousands of small leaflets into the air. It veered away and sped out of the city, disappearing behind the horizon. The leaflets fluttered in the wind and gradually floated down, settling onto city streets, market stalls, store roofs, courtyards, and gutters. Passers-by scooped some up. Guatemalan police retrieved others. The printed notices in large block letters carried a bold demand. Guatemala's president, Jacobo Arbenz, must resign immediately. They warned further that the mysterious plane would return that afternoon and blow up the city's main arsenal to assure Arbenz's swift departure. If he had not quit by then, the circulars added, the aircraft would also bombard the palace. The leaflets were signed National Liberation Forces. That's like the first two paragraphs of the book. Um,
Okay.
so the Liberation
I
Forces,
mean, it sounds very familiar.
right? Yeah. Um, and essentially the Liberation Forces, spoiler, are America. It's America. It's
Right.
America. Sorry, United States of America, USA.
Yeah.
Good old US of A. But it's portrayed to be like some sort of like communist,
Unknown. Yeah.
extreme, um, and it ultimately like they come back and they do start like Arbenz does try to diplomatically uh neutralize the situation. Like he tries so hard. He's a very good president. He was a very liberal woke president in 1954. And
Okay.
he wasn't even as liberal as his predecessor, Arvelo, which you might be familiar with that name too. Have you heard of
They
Arvelo?
both sound familiar, but like honestly, it could be like, oh yeah, I have a cousin with that name.
Okay.
Or maybe.
So yeah, he tried really diplomatically to neutralize the situation to no avail. Spoiler alert again, Operation Success was a success. Okay. So Arbenz, he even called in the United Nations. And the United Nations was like, yeah, this is fucked up. You guys can't really do this. Once, it was established that the US was involved. And
Right.
and essentially, the US is like, well, we're gonna do it anyway. Um,
And like always, the UN didn't do shit.
Yeah, because the UN is like pretty much worthless.
Yes.
But okay, so here I'm gonna read you what Arben said. So his statement. is this is basically like um his concession, I guess. This movement cannot be considered a mere rebellion. It is something more. This is an armed invasion of our territory carried out by adventurers, mercenaries of various stripes, and some Guatemalan exiles. So the American government, United States government, even like recruited
Right.
Guatemalan exiles to help them with their plan. Again, it's not really about race, right? Like
Right.
it's just about power. Such is the composition of the expeditionary force equipped, supplied, and armed on Honduran and Nicaraguan territory. Honduras and Nicaragua at the time, and probably still, I don't know, had dictators as presidents, right? And it was very
Okay.
much a dictatorship, right? Whereas
Yeah.
Guatemalan was not a dictatorship. Like the president
Right.
was very much, like it was more socialism than anything, which
Right.
America had or United States had a problem with.
Right.
It's interesting because the Nicaragua and Honduras were allies of the United States despite the dictatorship. But Guatemala,
Right.
here, like a little tiny socialist country that's giving land to farmers, they're the bad guys, right?
Right.
So, anyway, back into the quote. They openly loaded military supplies on planes, which took them to Copan, somewhere in Honduras, from the airport to Tegucigalpa. They walked in uniforms through the streets of Tegucigalpa. They stated that the Honduran authorities had no authority over them, and they were not even silent about the fact that they received $300 a month in wages, and they have ostentatiously exchanged the greenbacks, which is American dollars, right, in several Honduran towns. They are so well organized that they brought photographers and U.S. war correspondents along their expedition. I'm not going to keep reading because it's boring, but essentially, he's saying like he knows what's going on, uh, and there's really nothing he can do about it. But who did they instate?
Castillo Armas
Yeah, is that
in
what you?
1954
Yep.
through the CIA orchestrated coup.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Coup. I always say coup.
I know. I always want to say I want to say it so bad, but I don't.
Yeah. I didn't even catch that I said it.
Mhm. Um. So anyway, yeah. So I was saying the statement. Yeah.
Okay, so Arbenz is who was in power,
Yeah.
and he was replaced with Castillo Armas.
Mhm. And Castillo Armas was the complete opposite of Arbenz in terms of what he believed in, and America, United States got their way. All right, so why did all this happen? Arbenz took land back from the United Fruit Company and gave it to local Guatemalan farmers. And the United States actually had $60 million in investments in the United Fruit Company. This is essentially a banana monopoly, right? So like all the money was in the bananas, right? Have you seen Arrested Development? Probably not. There's a quote from that TV.
Haven't.
There's always money in the banana stand. And it's true because there's so much money in bananas. And what's interesting is like even at this time in Guatemala, like the majority of Guatemalan land was not even like farmland.
Okay.
And that is part of the draw. That was part of the draw to have influence in Guatemala. It was like we need this. We're going to steal this land essentially.
Right.
But so we're going to go back to 10 years to 1944 when there was a different president. Um, and his name was Arvelo. And he was like a straight up socialist, right? He was an educator. And he actually, before 1944, there was another president who was just a straight up asshole. And Arbenz actually helped overthrow that. And they elected Arvelo, who was a educator. He was like a philosopher and an educator.
Okay.
And he was like super handsome and super personable and super smart. I mean, he was an educator, right? And
Right.
he um and also FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was like he was like a huge hero to a lot of the leaders in South America. Have you ever heard that before?
No.
So like I don't know why, but I mean I guess I do know why. Like FDR had the New Deal and the four freedoms, which was freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of want, and freedom of fear. So all, a lot of these Latin or South American countries were like, fuck yeah, we want that. So they looked
Right.
at FDR as like, well, we want, to kind of copy these policies and get all these freedoms, right? And
Like someone who could mentor them.
yeah, yeah. And so FDR was a hero of Aravello. I think I'm saying that right, Aravello. Um, so this inspired Guatemalans to overthrow the dictatorship in the 1940s, resulting in union organizing, um, protests, and ultimately a democracy. Teachers were the driving force behind overthrowing Ubico, Ubico, Ubico in 1944, who was the asshole before. And this was a non-violent movement, right? If you imagine teachers protesting, it's always going to be
Right.
non-violent. Never seen a teacher pull out a gun and shoot someone in the head.
Right.
So a protest, which was the largest in Guatemalan history, resulted in 200 dead because of Ubico. Um, one of which was Maria Chinchilla, who was the leader of the school teachers. And so she became like this martyr, I guess, and the symbol of like, freedom.
Okay.
So this ultimately led to Ubico stepping down, which I was like, no one steps down anymore. Like,
Right.
I can't believe he
You
did.
really wish you would.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we
Right. So
bring that back?
Rico was like, all right, I give up. I'm like, "Ugh, that'll never happen today." But in the establishment of the country's first free election with a barrel-chested hottie named Dr. Juan Jose Aravello. So, and why I don't know why I wrote that. Barrel-chested I put in quotes because that's literally what they said in the book.
Okay.
I
What
didn't
does
come
that
up.
mean?
That was you don't know
What?
what that means?
No.
Oh, I guess it just means he's got like big pecs or something. Like he's like, like
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Hot stuff.
yeah. So he was like muscular and built, I guess. Um and smart because he was a philosophy professor at it, as I mentioned, who had been living in exile in Argentina due to his spiritual socialism. I guess I don't know. But anyway, once Ubico resigned, he came back and he won the election with 85% of the vote. It was the male literate vote, but still, either way, baby steps,
Okay.
baby steps. Actually, women did gain the right to vote once Aravello became president. So he made
Okay.
so many, including like, and he inspired, or I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I guess inspired is the right word. Arbenz to even to give their workers paid leave for maternity in 1945.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
So very
how.
forward.
Yeah, so yeah, I think was this Aravello or yeah, Aravello. Workers were assured one day off during the maximum 40-hour work week, and contributory social security was made mandatory. Employers were to pay workers in legal currency rather than company scrip and grant paid leaves for childbirth and permit union organization. This is 1945. That's some woke shit for 1945.
Right.
And this was all because of Aravello, right? Um,
Our Benz.
no, Aravello. Sorry, I misspoke. So this is in the 40s.
Okay.
So Aravello was like the hot philosophy president, right? And then he essentially, he I think there was too much socialism and he basically started giving all the land back to the Guatemalan farmers and he did a great job, but a lot of the Guatemalan people were getting antsy and they were like, progress isn't happening fast enough. And
Okay.
Arvelo was like, I'm trying, I'm trying. So ultimately it led to a new election in which Arbenz became the president, which Arvelo was
Okay.
like, I guess I'm okay with that. Like Arvelo was like, I still can do good. Like I want to, he wanted
Right.
to keep it, but then like a bunch of shit happened. And like, I think Arbenz, there's always corruption. Like I'm not saying that Guatemala was like this perfect country with no corruption,
Right.
but it ultimately led to the transfer of power from Arvelo to Arbenz, right? All right, so I just want to read this to give you an idea of like the philosophy that Aravello was inspired by. And this is socialism. And a lot of people
Okay.
hear socialism and they think bad, but this is what it really
Right.
is. All right. So he says, our revolution is not explained by the hunger of the masses, but by the thirst for dignity. Our socialism does not therefore aim at ingenious distribution of material wealth to economically equalize men who are economically different. Our socialism aims at liberating men psychologically and spiritually. We aim to give each and every citizen not only the superficial right to vote, but the fundamental right to live in peace with his own conscience, with his family, with his property, and with his destiny. We call this post war socialism spiritual because in the world, as now in Guatemala, there's a fundamental change in human values. The materialistic concept has become a tool in the hands of totalitarian forces. That's America.
Right.
Like it is materialism is a tool that Trump is using to continue his quest for power and world domination.
Yep.
Um, so anyway, this was all happening in the 40s, and it kind of caught America's eye, and socialism sort of became weaponized because the United States saw that this was detrimental to them. And socialism, like I just read, is really about like, it's not necessarily about economic equality. It's more about like spiritual and psychological equality, so that like we're not
Right.
like having to toil away 8 hours or 10 or 12 hours a day just to put food on the table, right?
Right.
Okay, let me find the
About
farm.
like balance.
Yes, yeah, that balance. So in this like 10-year time, remember, it was Aravello in the 40s, Arbenz in in the late 40s, early 50s. They made so much progress, like I mentioned earlier, but one I wanted to give special note to was the establishment of libraries for the first time and the importing of books. It's like you think those
Wow.
things are already there, but they're not,
Right.
and they saw the value in these things. So this is the shit that these guys are doing.
Right.
America's like, no, 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 we can't have library.
We can't have that. No, we know how we feel about books.
Yeah, we need your bananas, and we need to take away your libraries.
And it's
So
also like, oh, these people want to get educated. We
yeah,
can't have that.
exactly. So the real progress was in the land reform bill. Remember that the majority of Guatemalan land was owned by 2% of the wealthy elite, and it wasn't all developed, right? So I mentioned that it wasn't all developed, but I forgot to
Right.
mention that what was owned, like 70% of it was like owned by 2% of people, right?
Yeah.
But the government being Arbenz and Arvelo only took uncultivated land from large plantations, and they didn't even just like take it, they paid for it. They fucking paid for it. They're like, this isn't yours.
Right.
We're still gonna pay you for it, so shut up, right? Even though you took it from us, like this is our land. And but only according to its declared value. Okay, I froze, but you can still hear me, so I'm gonna
Right.
keep talking.
Yeah,
So
you're good.
So the Guatemalan government was like, don't worry, calm down, we'll pay you, but we're only going to pay you how much you say it's worth, right? The United States owned the United Fruit Company, right? They grossly undervalued the the land by a buttload so that they could reduce their tax liability.
Right.
Right? That's not a surprise.
No,
So
not
they're
shocking at all.
right. So they're kind of pissed about that, right? So
But they did it to themselves. So,
right. Yes. Yeah. So as a result, landless peasants received 42.5 acres each and only had to pay 1 to 3% of the value of the crops it yielded. And not only are like they're giving this land to like peasants, if you will, but they're saying, hey, you can't have this for free. You got to give us some back, right? So this is like it's not like a freebie, it's not a handout. It's like this
right.
belongs to you. You're Guatemalan, right? Um, so here's your piece of the pie that you deserve. But whatever you grow on it, let's just say you grow a bunch of bananas, you have to
Right.
give 1 to 3%, depending on your family and all that, back to the government. Sounds fair to me. I don't.
Right.
So 100,000 families received a total of 1.5 million acres, 3,000 of which came from Arbenz and his foreign advisor. So like they were even so at this time it was Arbenz. So he inherited this land reform bill from Arvello, right? So Arbenz
Okay.
was like, I'm going to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I have 3,000 acres. I'm going to give it to these landless peasants,
So
right?
it wasn't like a power grab for himself either.
Exactly. Yeah. And with only 16% of the country's privately owned fallow lands redistributed with pay, this was considered a very moderate reform act. This wasn't like extreme socialism. It's not like
Right.
they took 100% of the land and gave it, it was only 16% of the land, if you think about it. So very
Yeah.
moderate. Um, Radical, but there were some problems. Radicals and extremists and communists became impatient with the land redistribution and they invaded a total of 36 farms. That's not a lot considering the grand scheme of things. So, there were, that's kind of the argument that the other side says, like, well, if you're going to start giving away farm, people are going to get greedy and they're going to start invading and they're just going to take what they want because it's sort of a free for all, right? So that's sort of like
Right.
the other side of the argument. But it only happened on 36 farms, which I think is a pretty low
A
number.
small number. Yeah.
While communism was present in Guatemala, it was not influential. None of Arbenz's cabinet members were can't read my handwriting, were commies. Sorry, I wrote commies. So there was communism in Guatemala, right?
Yeah.
Arbenz was not a communist. He was like, sure, I'm going to appease this group of commies, but none of them are
Right.
going to become my cabinet members. I'm going to pretend like I'm listening to what they're saying. And maybe they have a few good ideas here and there, but they're not going to be influential to our country. Arbenz was not a communist. He was a nationalist who played nice with the communists to enact social progress in a moderate manner, scaring the United States financial corporations. And that is where I'm going to stop. That's all I got so far in the book. But essentially, those events led up to the first paragraph that I read, which was the fighter jets dropping these like propaganda leaflets, forcing Arbenz to resign. And
Yeah.
essentially, Arbenz did try to prevent it, but gunfire was involved, and they did, it wasn't. It did ultimately lead to the Guatemalan Civil War, which resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths of Guatemalans and indigenous people,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you know a little bit about that, the Civil War.
So I don't know that much about it. I'll be honest, not a lot, but I do know like just from I know that they're and I don't know if they still exist now, but how do you say it in English? Eh,
Say it in Spanish.
guerrilleros. Like not gorillas. What are they called?
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
it is guerrillas,
it
I
is?
think. Yeah.
Okay. And so there I remember like my mom was caught up by them once and
Really?
my dad.
Wow.
Um and they were actually taken out of their vehicle and like walked into the jungle and they were almost shot.
Oh, that's so
And
scary.
then El Ejército, the army showed up and like shots started firing and everyone just started running. And this is when they lived here. They were just visiting.
Hmm.
And I
Oh, wow.
remember vividly them coming home with this story. My mom had a huge bruise on her leg from where she like was jumping over cars and stuff.
Scary.
Yeah,
Wow.
because they had their US passports with them. I think what was it? The way my mom explained it, and it's been a while since I've heard this story. Um, they were driving in a car, and what they would do is do like roadblocks, right? The gorillas would do roadblocks, and then they'd go car to car. And they came up to my dad's car, and he was like, "Put the passports in my boots," because if they find out you're American,
Hmm.
U.S. citizens, that's not a good thing.
Hmm.
Um, And so he was like, "What do you do?" Like the guy's like, "Who are you?" Whatever. Because I think they were driving like my cousin's or uncle's car or something, and it was a nicer car. And he was like, "Oh, I'm just a driver. I drive a truck." And there was like a big 18 wheeler next to him. I drive a truck like that. And instead of saying like he was like, "What about her?" Instead of him saying, "That's my wife," my dumbass dad goes, "Oh, she owns a truck."
Oh
And
no.
made it seem like she was like an important person. And they were like, "All right, get out of the car."
Oh no. He's like, you're going down too.
Yes. And she was like, "What the fuck? Why'd you throw me in?" He got nervous, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how you don't know how you're gonna act in that situation.
Yeah. And so they walked him into like the woods or jungle, whatever, and they had him like lined up. Like kind of like execution style because they were bringing other people.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, then like shots started ringing out like when El Ejército, the army showed up and they were going back and forth and like literally a shootout.
Mhm.
And they were like hiding behind cars and jumping over rails and stuff. And it was crazy. And they were
Like,
able to make it out.
yeah.
They were able to make it back to their car. And I think that same truck that was nearby
Mhm.
started like driving forward and they just kind of like scooted in behind them and like made it out.
Wow.
But
That's so scary.
that is shit that happened. That was like in the 80s,
Okay.
90s,
Yeah.
early 90s, late 80s.
Hmm.
Um, so I can only imagine how bad it was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. 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 I remember like someone told me a story in my family. Like, so my only connection to like South America would be my great grandfather was a gorilla. Which that's how you say it, right? It's not like the animal. It's for the
It is, right?
how do you say it? I
In
won't,
in Spanish son guerrilleros, right?
yeah.
Believe.
That's probably how you say it, but like Americans can't say that, so we say gorilla
Maybe.
because it's GU. But whatever.
GUE,
Yeah,
right.
it's gorilla, whatever. So, my grandpa, my great grandpa was in South Africa in in the war, and he was making his way back to Texas, and so he was making his way back through South America, like as I guess I don't know, it was hard to travel back then, like.
Right.
This was like 1898 or something, and it was some South American war where he was like I don't want to fight, but like
Right.
he was sleeping in his tent one night. An indigenous person put a knife to his throat and said, "You're on our side now," and was like enforced him to fight with the indigenous. And
Okay.
he fought with them for a while and then got somehow got away from that and then just continued making his way up through South America till he got to Texas.
Huh.
And that's a story that was passed down to my grandpa who died
Right.
in 2015 or something. So, and of course I didn't get the straight story. I hear it from my racist uncle.
Yeah, and as it gets passed down, things change and things
And I shouldn't
happen.
say that. My uncle's not racist. Just in case my cousin is listening to this, hi Shay. He's not.
In case you didn't know what uncle I was talking
Yeah,
about.
no, she would know. She'd be like, I know who you're talking about. No, no, like, but when he would tell stories like that, he wouldn't say indigenous. He would say Indians, right? Which is like a lot of times, like you just grow up with this language, and then you get older, and then the language is replaced, and then if you say it now, it sounds like you're racist, but you're not. You have to like, and that's just like a part of wisdom and knowledge is like
Right.
learning what not to say. You know.
Yes.
So.
And I think what happens is like at this point they should know not to say it
Mhm.
and they continue to say it because in their day it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
And they're like, it's not a big deal. And we're like, yes, it is. And they're like, no, it's not. But
Mhm.
that resistance to change is problematic, I
Yeah,
guess is the
because
word.
if you're resisting changing just like your language, then you're
Right.
all obviously going to resist changing policies that make people's lives better, which
Yes.
is what Aravello was trying to do with his
Yeah,
philosophical socialism, which like, oh, can we get some philosophical socialism? Because
would be nice.
I need some of that. So why my thing was look up who the president is of Guatemala right now. And I forgot to, so that's why I'm making you look it up.
Oh, it's Bernardo Arevalo.
Aravello, yeah.
Different
So
though.
it's the
Different spelling.
grandson. It's his
Is it?
grandson. It's the barrel-chested, haughty, philosophical socialist's grandson. Yeah,
Oh,
not Arbenz. Arbenz was his who took over when things got a little slow for the Guatemalans. But Aravello was the educator who was exiled in Argentina and came back after Ubico resigned or was overthrown by the educators, nonviolent protests. And Maria Chinchilla was one of the teachers who lost her life trying to overthrow Ubico so that Aravello, and I know I'm saying that terrible, Aravello, I don't know, I can't do it, could take over. And so now the current president is his grandson, right?
oh, okay. Wait. So it says Aravelo was born in Montevideo, Uruguay, during the exile of his father,
Oh,
former
father.
president Juan José Aravelo.
Yeah, father.
His
Okay.
father.
Yeah.
Okay.
not grandfather. So yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't, I just saw that and was like, oh, that's so cool. I wonder if he's doing good things in Guatemala. I don't know. Like, but
He returned to Guatemala as a result of the 2015 protest, where he co-founded an analysis group that later became the Movimiento Semilla political party. All right.
yeah. So, I
Very
mean,
cool.
let's just hope the United States keeps their shit out of Guatemala
Yeah.
because Arabella's son is, I'm hoping, I would be assuming so, he's cut from the same cloth, is
Right.
is going to be, doing some good things for Guatemala, I would think, right?
I would hope. Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. But Guatemala's in the middle of a shit show. Like, with Venezuela and all the things that are going, it's like
Yeah.
it's be in South America, it's as a continent is the way that it is because in large part because of the United States meddling to
Right.
what they want. And
Yeah.
if you don't believe us, just Google it. Okay. You've
Google
got
it. Check it
information.
out.
There are dozens of South American coups led by the United States government. Um, just go to Wikipedia. If you don't have the Wikipedia app on your phone, you need it.
Does it say, or have you gotten to the part where it explains what excuse they used to go into Guatemala?
Yeah. So the rest of the book I'm pretty sure is about the United Fruit Company, which the I think the excuse is that, like I said, $60 million was invested in uh I think like Guatemalan crops, and you know they didn't like that the government was giving all of this land to the Guatemalan farmers because that was going
Right.
to disrupt their bottom line. And as a result, I think it was like the president of this corporation, United Fruit Company, that was like, "Hey, we need to do something about this," and
Right.
that's to Washington
So
D.C.
that's the reason. But like, what was the, okay, so like
What did they say?
oil, yeah, like Venezuela oil is the reason, but a communism.
Communism.
Okay. There
Yep.
you go.
Hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Anyways,
That makes sense.
yep. So I'm gonna finish reading it, but I don't know. I figured a lot of this can be dry, and honestly, you could just read the Wikipedia article instead of reading like a huge book about it. But where's the fun in that, right?
Right. Right. We gotta read the book.
Hmm. Well, the
So
next
it's
book I'm
interesting because I'd like to see what happens with Greenland and if we actually
Jesus.
do
I think
something there.
Europe is going to be like, hell no.
I
Mm,
would hope so.
yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. Oh man, I don't know. Oh man.
Yeah,
What are
to
we
be
doing next?
continued.
Should we do yeah, should we do a junior episode?
Yeah, let's lighten the mood with the junior episode because
Yeah. I
it's getting dark.
I have one that again Miss Frazzled mentioned
Yeah.
on her account. Um so yeah, I don't know. I don't have the name off the top of my head, but look, be on the lookout for our next episode being a shorter junior episode. I'm also going to do a short like 45-second to a minute video on the philosopher Plato. Speaking of philosophers, Plato. Um
Okay.
so he was the student of Socrates, right? The famous philosopher who was put to death by the Greek government for supposedly corrupting the minds of youth, right? And Plato was his student who kind of like took all the shit that Socrates said and wrote it down because Socrates didn't believe in writing stuff down. One of the greatest minds in the history of the world didn't believe in writing stuff down. So
Right.
Plato wrote it all down. And so Plato wrote a book called The Symposium, which has now been banned by Texas A&M University. Um, so like a professor was like trying to use it in his course, and Texas A&M was like, you can't, if you use the, like, we're just going to get rid of your course. You either have to remove Plato or we're going to get rid of your course. And so
Why?
it has to do with gender identity, but it's not what it sounds like. So I'm gonna make like a quick little 45-second video sort of explaining that because I can't spend an hour talking about Plato. I mean, I could,
Right.
but it would be boring.
All right. I'm looking forward to hearing that because, yeah, why?
Mhm. Yeah.
Sorry,
And
I don't understand.
She doesn't understand either.
Siri, watch the video and you'll understand. Okay, Siri. Knowledge is power, Siri.
For real.
Well, I guess we should end it on that, unless you have anything else you want to add.
I think that's pretty much it. I feel like there was something. Oh, yes, there is something. Have you been keeping up with Moms for Liberty?
No.
So apparently there's some rift amongst them
Is there
and they're
another
dropping
Greenway?
like flies.
Is there
So
another
I don't
Greenway?
know. No. They're all like stepping down and doing like these long-winded posts about like them stepping down.
I love infighting. I love it
Yes, I love it.
for
So I
sure.
don't know if it's because what is it, TPUSA or
Oh, T pussy, T pussy,
the TPUSA?
T pussy.
If it's because of them like kind of spearheading it, um, or just some control freaks, I don't know what's going on, but
Interesting and not at all surprising. T pussy, TPUSA. Is what again? Can you give me an idea of that? I just like to call it
I
T.
just know it was like what Charlie Kirk um put out and it's just
Isn't it like infiltrating schools or something?
oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's happening too. Yeah. They've got like what is it like school clubs
Love
now that
T
that they
pussy
can
clubs.
yep, the
Uh,
T pussy. That's what we should call them from now on.
Well, and I do that because there's this funny social media influencer who all he does, and of course he can get away with this because he's a man and men can just do this shit and become famous. I'm just like, if a woman did that, she would not become famous, but whatever. All he does is read the comments of these insane idiots. And if they use like three exclamation points, he'll be like, T plus A, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation.
I
And I'm
know who
just
you're
like,
talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
of course, my husband thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. And I'm just like, really? This guy he's gone viral because all he's doing is, but it is funny. I'll give
It
it to you.
is
It's funny. Yeah.
because he's like mocking them, like how
Yeah.
they speak, and it is funny because it's like that's what you sound like, you moron.
Yeah. It is funny. And that's why I say T plus A because that's what he said.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I know
Um,
exactly who you're talking about though. He's hilarious.
of course we forgot his name. Whatever.
Oh yeah, no,
Famous.
don't ask me the name of anybody ever. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
like recruit my oldest daughter to become our social media assistant because I can't remember shit. One more thing. Super Bowl. When is that?
Yeah. Oh shit, I have no idea.
It's
End
February.
of January, beginning of February.
Okay, we're gonna have a special Super Bowl episode
I'm down.
because we got to
I
talk.
only give a shit about Bad Bunny.
Yeah, because we're gonna
I
talk about
don't,
Bad Bunny. It's gonna be a Bad Bunny episode because I feel like that's something we need to talk about, and we can relate it to a book somehow.
oh, that was 2025. I'm like, how do they already know who's playing in it?
Wow,
I'm so stupid.
sports.
It is going to be February 8th.
Okay, all right.
February 8th.
Let's do a junior episode and then a Super Bowl episode, and then I'm
I'm
going to
down.
Mexico.
Okay, fun. When are you going?
The 13th to the 16th of February.
Okay, nice.
Mm,
All right.
Yep,
Can
that'll
I
be
tag along?
fun.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
for sure.
Can I leave
I
and never come
almost
back?
So like I almost went to Mexico like I had a free trip to Mexico a couple of years ago because I was going to be my sister's nanny. This
Do
is
you want me to nanny your kids?
I was like
Is
you can
this
be
your
my
way of?
nanny. Yeah. Yeah. But I was like I thought about it. I was like I want to be her nanny. And so I was like sorry, I can't come.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Now I'm going just to have fun and not be someone's bitch. So
Nice.
it'll be fun.
Well, I'm jealous and I wish I was going,
Me too. I'm
but
so
have fun.
Thank you. I'm frozen again. We got to end this episode.
Yeah, let's go. All
All
right,
right.
talk to you later. Bye.
No, don't ban
No?
books. Don't
Shit.
ban books.
Ban bigots.
There you go. I know it's been a long time, but we can't not end it like
It's
that.
been a moment. This episode has been engineered and mixed by your hosts, Jennifer and Courtney.
You can listen to the Milford Books podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, or literally any podcast app you want.
Check out our Milford Books YouTube page. That's MILF, the number 4, books. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Follow the show on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and Blue Sky at MILF for Books. Again, that's MILF, the number 4, books. But follow us on TikTok at Moms into Literary Freedom.